Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino here on Halloween. Happy Halloween to all of you out there. Be safe. Little trick-or-treaters going around tonight. What a day on a Friday for it to land, especially here in downtown Las Vegas. And we are loaded to the gills on a football Friday. Among our guests, Chuck Edel, professional sports bettor, his best bets coming up in 30 minutes. Mike Somich today on the show. We'll go NFL and Breeders' Cup. Today, tomorrow, he loves betting on the ponies. And one last go-around with Matt Vasgersian to preview Game 6 tonight, Paulie, of the World Series, which we will discuss several times. We have breaking news on lineups tonight, who's in, who's out, who's been switched at various positions. And we'll get into that coming up in about 15 minutes and plenty today on Week 9 of the National Football League. Now, is this real with the Ravens? 2 consecutive now good-looking games. Lamar comes back last night. Looks damn impressive, although it is Miami, so I think we have to tread lightly, right? And also now I cannot get what happened last week out of my head with Atlanta.
Wow, that's the big one. I mean, if you got eliminated in Survivor, that it feels even worse today.
No, it's 10 times worse.
I mean, you're watching that. It's like, and as I tweeted, how the hell did they beat Atlanta on the road by 24? And don't come at me with the Kirk Cousins. I mean, I know Kirk was bad, but for Miami to move the ball like they did as well against a pretty good defense, I mean, the fade on 4th and 2. Some of the stuff is pure gold. And I can't. How about the bad beat? He's going to survive the season. Greer, the GM's fired, but they're keeping McDaniel around the whole year. So that's a vicious beat if you had first coach fired. You've been betting this all along. He was as high as $7, and it looks like he's going to stick around. So Greer had been with the organization for 25 years. But between the offensive display, how awful they were there, the defense, the silly turnover as well. Baltimore's going to win the division. But the schedule's just so damn easy, as we've talked about. And now look at the teams that are coming up. Look at the quarterbacks they're facing. So no doubt what their power rating's at and how dangerous they are. And it was great to have Henry back. You knew he'd have a good game. That's what Atlanta should have done. Just run the ball, and you're going to be fine. But you look good. I can't.
What?
The outfit, the costume.
It's also blazing hot.
It's very good.
Quickly, I'll address it in a second. I do have a bet on a game coming up right now in the NHL. I have Golden Knights and Avalanche first period over minus 130.
Yep, so do I.
There's a lot to like about this.
Every home game's gone over first period. The Nevada Day and the history there as well, and they usually come out and jump on a team. I love goal in the first 10 as well. So so where are you at? I just think they just beat a bad team. And they did enough offensively, but I loved what I saw out of the tight ends. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, by the way, Lattery and Isaiah Likely last night, that got there. Those were winning bets all the way up to 60 yards. We did talk about that in the program. Did not see the 2 touchdowns coming from Mark Andrews, but you're right. You combine those 2 guys with Zay Flowers. Henry looked really good again. But here's the reason why you got to like this team moving forward again is because they have played one of the most difficult schedules in the entire league. Before last night. Now they have one of the easiest schedules in the league remaining, and it looks like this. So they'll have extended rest playing Minnesota next week on the road. They're at the Browns. They get the Jets, the Bengals, and the Steelers back-to-back at home.
Look at this.
At Cincy, New England, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I mean, there's an angle here where they might lose, I don't know, 1, maybe 2 games the rest of the way. If they stay healthy moving forward,
and they fix the defense, then yes, right.
You got to like their chances now.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Now, I think it's just way too soon though to talk about can they beat Kansas City or they're on that level. I mean, it's just because they're also once you get to the playoffs, it feels like they could be also not tested.
Well,
'Cause you're
here's the
going
deal,
I
though,
mean,
right?
It's not it's it fits your costume perfectly. It's nothing but crap coming up. I mean, really. I mean, look, this schedule's unbelievable. So certainly the slow start and the defense was so bad and all the injuries. But when you're getting healthy, can you really say, well, the defense looks good? Well, you played the Bears and all their issues in the red zone, and then you took out one of the worst teams in the league. So I got to see more, but no doubt that winning the division and playoffs is certainly right there for them. Right. It appears 10-7 right there looking at that.
Agreed. So, but here's the point, right? If you were grabbing, and there's still, there's a big number out there to win the AFC, but if you did this last week and the week before, and you were grabbing them around 11-1, I think was peak to win the AFC, like that's a number you can do something with come playoff time. Right? And how many teams are going to be better than the Ravens in the playoffs? Like, you're going to like their chances against most teams. I mean, the Colts are absolutely for real, we think. The Bills are going to be damn good. And they're going to have to beat the Chiefs. But let's say it's the AFC title game and you're holding 11-1 and they have to go to KC and they're catching 2.5 points. Okay, well, that's manageable,
that's right.
man.
Yeah, that's what David Baker ran down when he made all those future bets as well. But then again, they have all their issues in January. Who knows? Maybe they flip it. Maybe this is the year where they sneak in 10-7 and they make it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Who knows? But it was just it was a great job by the fans last night with the bags, the booing, walking out early, all of it. I thought the fans were great last night.
But
this is coming off a win too.
I know.
I mean, they were ready to go. They had a whole game plan about I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we have the longest drought in the league. It's been 25 years since they won a playoff game.
Terrible.
So everything they're doing is unacceptable.
But a win in which they dominated and looked actually like a professional outfit. And they come home on short rest along with the Ravens, and they throw up that stink bomb last night. Mm-hmm. And again, what are you doing? Passing on the points. It's okay, by the way, to take, there's nothing guaranteed, but to kick the field goal there, and instead you draw up a fade to a running back on 4th and 2?
Miscommunication.
Like, what the hell is going on?
I know.
And I get it, that's probably on Achane. They said that on the broadcast, but you can't dial up that play. That's absolutely awful. That's Mickey Mouse stuff, man. And that was only one example. Again, the bad fumble that you talked about was crippling to them. Without that, I mean, maybe it's in a different game anyway for a little while, but they are just such a silly outfit, and that's fine. So they're going to keep McDaniel for the rest of the year. There's no way he can come back next season.
No.
There's absolutely no chance.
No. And a new GM, that does it.
Yeah, that ship has sailed then. Mm-hmm. And then so for the Ravens' stiffest competition in their division, the Steelers are, a 3-point dog at home to the Colts this week. I like the Colts to win the game. I don't see where the stops are coming from by this Pittsburgh defense.
Yep.
And Danny Dimes and Jonathan Taylor will probably go up and down the field on them again. And the Bears are taking on the Bengals. That's in Cincinnati. Joe Flacco going to play? We don't know at this point.
Yep, he says so. Yeah. It's trending that way. I know.
Zach Taylor was saying, I think, I hope, but not positive.
Mm-hmm. A lot of news with that. And that's a big one here for the Bengals and also for the Bears. And now you're not going to have Swift. But the other thing here is the gift that keeps on giving has been Bengals. Every Bengal home game's gone over, and they're on a 13-2 overrun at home as well. So that's great news with Flacco out there. And it should be another high-scoring game, and also a game that the Bears have to have. But now you're down with your big running back, which is a key blow. Yeah,
Monangai is the guy that you want to attack, but sportsbooks, obviously, they waited the entire week with the Swift news, and they... In fact, I checked right before the show. I only saw anytime touchdown in Monangai. I couldn't even find rushing yards. He might be out now. But he was $1.70 to score a touchdown.
Points scored in Bengals home games this year. 58, 61, 64, 77. Couldn't stop the Jets. I'm with you. Bears first quarter again. Johnson's been so good scripting the plays. And the 13-2 overrun goes back since 2013. The other thing is with the favorites. So, again, Baltimore, no problem. 11-2 ATS last week. Best in a single week since 1985. All teams covered by 7+ points. It's the best start for favorites since 2009, what they've done. And this from Evan Abrams, the last 14 weeks. Favorites of 6+ points are 68-10 straight up, favorites of 8+ points are 26-1 straight up.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
And Jeff Fogel with a great tweet, who used to work at VSiN, pointed out that if you go back, what is it, the last 14 games, he said 12-2? If those favorites were laying 17 points, they'd be 9-5 ATS.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not making these point spreads big enough.
I know. You got to get involved with the pleasers.
Pretty much.
The pleasers.
You crushed it last week.
That's right. Yeah.
So as for the stiffest competition in the AFC, it's the Chiefs and Bills going at it in Buffalo this week.
Yep.
Now, typically, this is the spot where you want Buffalo. 5-1 ATS, last 6 regular season matchups with Kansas City, and 4-0 straight up NATS against the Chiefs in the last 4 years in the regular season. It's the postseason where you want to go the opposite way.
Oh, you're right, but I can't do it, and I bet the Chiefs. I love it. Goal?
Did we get a goal already?
Bam. How you like that? Nevada Day, baby. How long did that take? 2 minutes?
I think it might have been like 30 seconds.
There we go. There we go.
41 seconds. Bam!
How do you like that?
Give me one more, baby.
First 5 plus money, first 10. Yeah, I'll go over 2.5 first period in play.
Let's have a day, boys. Come on.
That's right. Yeah, I would have.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I would have.
No, you would not have.
Yes.
This guy, by the way, for the Golden Knights, I believe they showed it on the Chiron before the game, making his second career start.
Oh, is that
and
right?
And on Nevada Day, the history of this game, I have the numbers here for you. For what it's worth, it's always an early game. There's no school. It's a big deal here in the state. 4-3 overall. Let's see here. The goal scored 10-7, 4, 9-7, 5, and 7. So at least 5 of the games have had 7 or more goals in them.
Like the Islanders.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
they're coming up. So
yeah. But I go back though. I did a nice job last week, but now it comes out that Dalton had a broken thumb.
How about that?
And was playing with, so I take the win with a grain of salt. I know you got to respect Cook and what he's done on the ground, but I'm going to trust Reed and Mahomes on the road here. I think Kansas City's better than Buffalo, and it could be by a big margin.
Well, I hope. I mean, because we've had so many bloodbaths here lately. I hope this game is like 33-30 either way.
Absolutely.
The entire game.
Absolutely. It's like the World Series tonight.
Yep.
Give me a good game.
Which we will get into coming up next. Dave Roberts said he's open to pulling out all the stops. It appears that way with reports of what he's going to do with the lineup. And he'll give you an update on VSiN Morning Show host Dave Ross's Blue Jays ticket, the future one that pays $69,000 next here on VSiN.
Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee. And right now, you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Get some best bets here. College football and the National Football League as we head out to the Progressive guest line as professional sports bettor Chuck Edel joins the program now. He is in the Friday Night Football Invitational, the defending champ as well. Chuck, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Great.
Let's begin, and we talked about this, I think, going back to last week, Chuck, when we discussed the look-ahead lines in the NFL, and we noticed that the Broncos were playing in Houston against the Texans, and we said the total was a tad high in our opinion, and it was around 40 at the time, where it's still at. A couple of books are still hovering around 40.5. Where are the points coming from? I know you like the under. Tell us why.
Yeah, a few things here. Denver's offense before the Giants, the Dallas game, they were averaging about 21.5 points a game. They put up the 44 in Dallas, which you, me, and Paulie and a couple of the other VSiN members could have put up probably 3 touchdowns on that Dallas defense. And even during the game, it got worse. Their secondary was banged up. So I really do disregard the 44. We had the over. We talked about that on the show last week. We had the over in the Dallas-Denver game, but that's because of the Dallas defense. So I really disregard that that score. You know, the week before they were getting shut out by the Giants. Now they did put up 33 in that fourth quarter, but you could see where I'm going with their offense. I think their offense may be getting a little too much hype. Houston's offense has struggled too. You know, besides during the season they played Baltimore, and Baltimore was missing half their defense, and Cooper Rush was in there. I think he threw 3 or 4 interceptions. Take that game out of the mix because they put up a big number there. They're averaging 18 points a game. And now Houston comes into this game. They're banged up. Schultz, the tight end, I don't think he's practiced. Collins, Kirk, Barrios are all questionable, even though they were limited at practice. And the real success of both these teams is definitely their defense. I mean, Denver is on a record sack pace. I mean, they're challenging the 1985 Bears defense, which I think was the best defense ever. But they got 36 sacks so far this season. They're allowing 18.9 points a game, 281 yards. And now you look at the Houston defense is even doing better. They're giving up 14.7 points a game, 267 yards a game. Only one team all season has scored more than 20 points on them. So both defenses really solid. Both defenses good against the run. They don't, play fast. Houston's averaging 60 plays a game. Denver 63 plays a game. There is a big injury in Denver. Surtain, who's excellent in the secondary, he is out, but a lot of depth on the Denver defense, and Houston offense doesn't really put the scare into you throwing the ball as of recently they haven't. So I thought that number, like you said, there's some 40 and a halves out there as well. 40 still good. I like it to go under the 40.
Okay, very good. I'm interested to get your thoughts on this game tonight in college. Memphis takes on Rice. Rice is off a big win as a underdog, and Memphis had the horrible loss as a 3-touchdown favorite against UAB. Then they bounced back and beat a ranked South Florida team. Tulane and Navy both at home, still on deck. So Memphis wins out. They're likely in the playoff. What do you think of Memphis and Rice tonight? Memphis laying 14. The total is 49.5.
Yeah, Memphis controls they got some tough games coming up, but this is I am looking at a total of this game. Rice has a weak offense. I mean, the game last week, of course, was a double overtime game, and it looked a little bit higher scoring than a normal Rice game. But they're averaging 18.7 points in the conference, and they're only throwing the ball for 103 yards a game. That's 134th out of 136 schools in the FBA and the FBS. They don't throw the ball a lot. In fact, they've ran the ball 407 times this year compared to 132 passes. Rice's offensive game plan coming into this game and a lot of their games, especially when they're 14-point underdog, they're looking to shorten the game. That's the first thing they're doing. They're going to run the ball. They run that option offense. They're looking to run the ball, shorten the game. And as you said, Paulie, Memphis is coming off the big win against South Florida, but this game should play out much differently, much slower pace. Mm-hmm. Memphis defense has had some troubles stopping the run versus teams, with a strong passing game, But, again, Rice, one-dimensional. They're going to run the ball. Rice defense has kept them in some games, so they're a little underrated. As long as Rice can shorten the game, they could possibly stay in the game. And Memphis plays slower as well when they're playing slower schools. For example, against Troy, Memphis ran the ball 45 times against Troy, only threw 27 passes. Against Georgia State, they ran the ball 40 times, 20 passes. Florida Atlantic, 46 rushing the ball, 19 passes. So in these type of games, Memphis has played a lot slower. So you can see where I'm going with this. And I am going to play this game to go under the total. For the contest, actually, the circuit contest, because the game starts at 4 o'clock. I didn't realize this when I went to put my plays in, but you're not allowed to play a game that starts at 4 or earlier. So not able to put that one in, but I do like under in that Memphis Rice game tonight.
Okay, so if you were able to have that on your card, tonight's contest, it would have been on it?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I was putting it in there, and I couldn't find it. Actually texted Matt Yeomans. I'm like, I think you guys are missing a game, and then he reminded me that the game started at 4 o'clock. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but that's why.
Gotcha. Take us through the total here that you like with Western Kentucky taking on New Mexico State.
This is just one of those games. Sometimes they make good lines on these totals, and I'm always looking for a different angle. And this is one of those games that's just, to me, is a real good matchup. both teams prefer to throw the ball over running the ball. Western Kentucky, New Mexico State. They're also coming off some games versus slower paced teams, more run type teams. So, I think the totals, the number is a little low because of that. Western Kentucky still averaging 29.5 points a game, and they should be able to throw the ball on this New Mexico State defense. They're very weak against the pass. In fact, they're 115th in the country on defensive complete percentage. They're 101st in the country in giving up 251 passing yards a game. And they really haven't played a lot of good passing offenses in there. And you could see where they're going there on their defense. They've been really struggled against the pass. And Western Kentucky, they're averaging 270 passing yards a game. That's good for 23rd in the country. And believe it or not, New Mexico State, they're throwing the ball 254 yards a game, 37th in the country in passing. And they get their quarterback back this week. So this Western Kentucky defense has struggled against the pass as well. They gave up 340 passing yards to Louisiana Tech a few weeks ago. Delaware threw 314 yards on them. Their total defense has given up 5.8 yards per play. So I feel like it's a little bit of an under the radar that, because they've played a lot of running teams and slower type teams, the number is a little low. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a bargain here, and I like it to go over that total, but it should be a lot of throwing in the game.
Very good. Chuck will be listening and watching for the rest of your plays tonight during the contest show with Matt Youmans. We appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Okay, be good. There you go. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. There's news today in the NFL, Paulie. Penix, Drake London, good to go for Sunday against the Patriots. It looks like it could be Jacoby Brissett Monday night for the Cardinals. Open portion of practice today, Brissett got the majority of snaps during the individual portion of drills. Does that make you want the Cardinals more? If you were leaning that way,
I'd take Dallas.
Okay. We mentioned this earlier. Joe Flacco questionable. DeAndre Swift is out for the Bears.
Stevenson's out. Hello, Henderson.
Well, hello, Monangai. The Chiefs ruled out running back Isaiah Pacheco and left tackle Josh Simmons. The deadline is next week. The Chiefs may very well be super active in getting another running back. And now, no Brock Purdy again.
Is that 6 weeks in a row?
I believe it
is.
is.
With a toe?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I like them, though. I mean, that was so bad last week. I think they'll beat the Giants. No Simmons, no Ridley. Are we going to lose this?
Yeah, we're going to lose it.
Colorado scored 40 seconds into the game and nothing?
That's sometimes the worst thing for one of these bets. Man. So we need one now in the final 2.5 minutes. Vegas. Thank God I came back and grabbed some under 2.5. Gee, I can't believe. How about this, though? The news of the day is Travis Hunter.
I know. Got hurt in practice?
Yeah, yesterday.
IR. Horrible. That's brutal. I'll be on him with props. Breeders' Cup weekend is here. 14 championship races. Don't want to go in guessing. Full expert pick sheet, just $9.99 every race, both days. Mike Somich coming up at the top of the hour with picks. And if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, you get the picks free, laying out top selections and confidence scores. Instant download, zero fluff, great value. Pre-order now, VSiN.com/breeders. $9.99, Breeders' Cup, VSiN.com/breeders.
Yeah, don't you think that Denver-Houston total is too high still at 40.5?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Aaron Schatz, who has done the DVOA numbers now for many, many years, formerly of Football Outsiders, now FTN Fantasy. He tweeted out a graphic today that Houston is one of the best 3 and 4 teams per his DVOA numbers going back 25 years.
Mm-hmm. You got that great Denver defense and pass rush against a horrible offensive line, though.
Right.
Although Stroud was fantastic last week. I mean, this could be like the Seattle game all over again.
Win some, lose some. Up next, we'll go over weekly leader props in the NFL. A future Hall of Famer is set up to have a big game on Sunday. I'll tell you who that is next on VSiN.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better Picks, a daily fantasy sports app. where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better. Visit better.app now. Sign up today. Get free money and no deposit necessary. Better.app.
All right, a lot to get to in a very busy weekend of sports betting and horse racing as well. The Breeders' Cup this weekend, which we'll get to coming up in about 15 minutes as VSiN host Mike Somich joins the program now. Podcast comes out twice a week. It's called Sharp Money, but he also does VSiN at the Track as well, which is a great watch on YouTube. Mike, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always, pal. How are you today?
Doing great. We are off and running at Del Mar. Breeders' Cup starts. The Breeders' Cup races start in about 45 minutes. That's when we see the best horses in the world at every level, over every condition, get to run. So can't wait to get that going. We got a good NFL weekend as well. There's a lot of fun things to bet. Didn't even mention the World Series tonight, which is obviously Game 6, a huge game for both Toronto and Los Angeles.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we'll begin NFL here. Again, we were talking about this first segment, like where are the stops coming from by this putrid Steelers defense, right, against an elite Colts offense. Now, I get their competition, but they've done this now every single week, and they compare favorably to some of the best teams in the last 25 years going back when you look at any advanced metric that you want on offense, talking about the Colts here. What do you want to do with this game as they're favored by 3 points?
Yeah, pretty amazing Colts offense right now. They have the most points per drive of any team this century. That includes the 2007 Patriots right now. So just a phenomenally efficient offense here for the Colts. This is the third week in a row I'm betting against the Steelers. I took the Bengals on Thursday night 2 weeks ago. I loved the Packers last week. I love the Colts this week. I realize it's Johnny Square side here, laying the 3. It's moved to 3.5 now in some places. Shop around, see if you can still get the 3. I do still like the Colts at 3.5. This is a situation where the Colts offense should be able to move the ball through the air, on the ground, however they want, against a Steelers defense that just is not generating the pressure that we consistently saw from them during the heyday of this defense. If you're not creating the pressure, you're not getting the turnovers. If you're not getting the turnovers, the Steelers voodoo doesn't really work. And on the other side, you watch the Steelers offense, and if they're in third and anything longer than 8, it's just immediately off the field. They have to check it down. They're not able to stretch the field deep. And while I do think this Colts defense is gettable, and that'll be a problem for them later in the year, I don't think this is the game where it comes out. I'm happy to lay it with the Colts this week.
Okay, we just saw how bad that Bengals defense was last week as the Jets go for 500 yards. The Bears are 7-0 ATS in the first quarter. They didn't go over their team total for the first time last week, but left a lot of plays and points out there against the Ravens. What do you want to do as they had a players-only meeting the other day? What do you want to do? Cincinnati I'm talking about, but Bears team total against Cincinnati.
I love me some player-only meeting. It doesn't change the talent on the field. It's not an effort issue here for Cincinnati. It's just they're not good at defense. They've got too many holes across the board. Trey Henderson with the hip, not expected to play. That means there's going to be absolutely no pass rush, again, for a Bengals team that is going to face a Bears offense. Well, I don't love Caleb Williams, and I don't love the fact that he is inaccurate still here in his second year in the NFL. He doesn't need to be overly accurate when you get 3-4 yards of separation. And I think that's what we're going to see down the field for a lot of these wide receivers. Because of Flacco's status, we've seen the total dip down a little bit in this game. That's given me an opportunity to go in and take Bears team total over. You can find it at 23.5. I would be very surprised if the Bears don't put up 24 on Sunday against this Bengals offense or Bengals defense. You mentioned it, great in the first quarter, scripted plays, they've been phenomenal. I think the Bears start out fast, and I think their defense gives some up, which forces them to continue pushing on the offensive side of the ball. I'll go ahead and take the unit I want to pick on here in the Bengals defense and assume they're not going to do well. Give me Bears team total over 23.5.
Very good. Let's hit another team total here, and we'll look at the Denver-Houston game. There has to be spots coming up based on the competition to fade Houston, right? And this offense, I'm looking right now, Mike, at ESPN's like pass block win rate numbers. They are 28th pass block win rate overall and 32nd overall with run block win rate. Is this one of those games where you want to fade the offense somehow?
Yeah, it is. Look, this is interesting because we saw sharp money come in on Houston last week. They covered against San Francisco. We're seeing sharp money come in this week. It flipped Houston from a 1.5-point dog to a 2.5-point favorite in some places. We've also seen the total tick up. This was a 38.5 open. We're up to 40 now because of the move to the over and because of the flipping favorite here with Houston now favored. You can get a very good price on their team total under. And it's interesting to hear the narrative around this Houston team because people are talking about how, well, their pass blocking is improved. 2 of the last 3 weeks, they've been great. Okay, you got Baltimore, who had nobody on the defensive side, and a San Francisco team that has one of the worst pass rush win rates in the NFL, smack dab in the middle with Seattle. And if I remember that game correctly, CJ Stroud was under duress 100% of the time. Now you've got Denver coming in here, which is one of, if not the best pass rushing teams in the NFL. They're going to create a lot of havoc here for CJ Stroud. I understand Surtain not going to be in the lineup here for Denver, but it doesn't really matter who's playing cornerback if CJ Stroud doesn't have any time to throw. I think this Houston offense struggles. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball efficiently. I think it's going to be incredibly choppy through the air. And again, because we've seen the total tick up, because we've seen them flip to favorites, you can now get under 20.5 on the team total that was 19.5 earlier this week. Let's take the Texans team total under 20.5.
Big total, big spread here with Green Bay and Carolina. You mentioned being chalky and square, but you're 12-2 ATS going back here, betting the big favorites. What do you think of the total in this game as Bryce Young's going to go? We know how bad his road record is. He did beat the Jets, but they didn't move the ball in that game. What do you think of Green Bay, Carolina?
I think the key to Carolina's success here is can they run the football? We've seen them have success offensively when the ground game is going. It opens up their ability to then pass the football. I don't see them having a lot of success against this Green Bay run defense. If that's the case, all of a sudden you're seeing yourself in second and long, third and long situations. That's where this Panthers offense really sputters, especially against a pass rush that should cause trouble for Bryce Young all day on that side. You flip over to Green Bay. Look, I love this offense when they're actually trying. It doesn't seem like they're trying for full games at this point. You're getting these spurts where the offense is great, and then you're getting these longer stretches where they're just absolutely stagnant, like the first half against the Steelers last week. They're going to want to run the football against Carolina. Carolina actually been much better against the run than I think most people projected this year after being a bottom 5 team last year against the run. I think this is a game where you want to look toward the under. We saw similar situations where Green Bay was happy to play these kind of sleepy games and just allow their defense to control the pace of the game. I think that's the same game plan here. I don't think Green Bay is going to hang a 30 spot on Carolina, and I think Carolina struggles to score in this spot. Let's take the under 44.5, which is still readily available out there in the market.
All right, now I'm intrigued by this as well. You actually found and isolated a Packers receiver that you want to ladder. I find this borderline impossible, but I want to hear why you like Christian Watson.
Well, Christian Watson came back from an ACL last week, and he was clearly the target that you want downfield. Right now, it's Dobbs, Watson, and Golden, and they've been talking about trying to get Golden more involved. And while I agree that they're going to look for ways to get him going, it still feels like Love's best relationship with his wide receivers is to Christian Watson. And I want to take advantage of this. Well, Christian Watson's being priced basically like a wide receiver 2B, almost a wide receiver 3 in some markets. His total out there in receiving yards this week is 36.5. That is wildly low for what I consider to be the number one wide receiver on this offensive unit. And like I said, I think the Packers struggle running the football. That means if they're going to move it, they're going to move it through the air. You know you're going to get at least one, if not 2 or 3 shots down the field toward Christian Watson's direction. Let's say he hauls in one of those. He's already over this. If he is then the possession receiver or gets 2 of them, he flies over ladders, and you can get big plus money prices because of how low this receiving total is. So let's take over 36.5 receiving yards. Let's go 60 plus at plus 265, and let's go 80 plus here at plus 610 for Christian Watson on the Packers.
All right, very good. One more prop here. It's Kelce, and you want to ride his kind of hot streak right now with the Chiefs?
I think he is the main beneficiary of Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, because all of a sudden, teams that could key on Kelce no longer can do so. You now have a legitimate wide receiver 1 who can move the chains in Rice. You've got a legitimate deep threat in Worthy. On top of that, you've got Smith-Schuster, you've got Thornton, you've got Marquise Brown. You've got all of these different pieces that are stretching the field on the outside, and it forces you to put resources away from the tight end position. Because of that, we've seen Kelce and Gray, both of their tight ends, be able to get loose and get separation. Look, Kelce's not fast enough to devote two specific defenders to. So in a lot of situations, when you're trying to roll coverage to Rice, when you're trying to roll coverage to Worthy, it's Kelce who ends up open and is able to make plays off of that. His receiving yards total sitting at 44.5 this week against the Bills. I do think this is a higher scoring game. I do think that Kansas City needs to have success through the air, especially with Pacheco out, to be successful in this game. And I think that means Kelce has an opportunity to have one of those bigger games of his. So let's go over the 44.5 reception yard prop for Travis Kelce.
90 seconds. Sell me on this one. Giants unders at home have been an ATM for years. All the injuries now that they have on offense, and it's Mac Jones again for the Niners. Total of 48. Why do you like the over?
because these are two teams without a pass rush. And this is a Niners offense that I think is going to be able to execute against a Giants team that can't stop the run, struggles in the secondary, and we've not seen live up to what we expected preseason rushing the passer. You flip it around to the other side. San Francisco, again, one of the worst teams when rushing the passer. I understand we're missing Scadaboo, no Neighbors, but Dart's going to have all day to throw, and that means that you're going to get receivers open downfield at some point. I like the Giants offense as constructed. If they're able to protect Dart, I do think they're going to protect Dart in this spot. If you protect Dart and you have San Francisco moving it on the ground or through the air, 48's a little bit too low. We saw this at 48.5, 49 earlier this week. We've seen some under money come in. Once we hit the key number of 48, I like going back against that move and going to the over.
Very good. Mike Somich, our guest, he's going to hang out for one more segment. Of course, it is the weekend for the Breeders' Cup. Before we get into that, by the way, we're talking about our characters today. By the way, Paulie, Squid Games, for people who don't know. Mm-hmm. Some people were chiming in on Twitter, didn't recognize the outfit. But I was correct. Randy Quaid was drinking a Meisterbrow.
Good job.
During this RV scene on Christmas Vacation. Have either of you guys ever had a Meisterbrow?
No, but my Uncle Buck used to drink it. It was cheap in high school. He'd get after it.
Your uncle was drinking
Yes.
it, so it was probably $2 a case, $3 a case.
Yeah.
Mike, cheapest beer you've ever had?
Ooh, man. God, the little hand grenades, Mickey's.
Oh,
I guess that's
beautiful.
liquor.
There we go.
But
Good answer.
I did love me some Mickey's.
Yeah, who didn't? Somich is going to continue. He loves the ponies. His betting approach for the Breeders' Cup next.
Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee. And right now, you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Happy Halloween. Welcome aboard. Busy hour coming up in 15 minutes. We'll get into some of the biggest games in the National Football League this weekend, including great numbers on the Chiefs-Bills tilt Sunday afternoon. We'll go over props on tonight's card, a little NBA sprinkled in, NFL props as well. But we begin the hour talking Game 6 of the World Series, and longtime friend of the show, the great Matt Vasgersian, joins us one more time, MLB Network. Can't thank you enough, pal. Thanks so much for the time. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. We got to get a Game 7 here, boys. I don't care who wins the World Series. It's a coin flip for me. No skin in the game either way. No root boy, fanboy game either way. I just want 7 games. I really hope the Dodgers win tonight.
And the most predictable path for that to happen is Yamamoto going 7 strong at least, and shutting him down completely again?
Yeah, I think that's right, Mitch. I think, in a elimination scenario, not everybody in the Dodger bullpen is available tonight, even though the common thing to say is it's all hands on deck. That's really a misnomer because there's certain guys that Dave Roberts is going to stay away from. I think you set it up. It's 7 innings from the starter, 6+ in a less ideal scenario, and then it's some combination of Trinan and Sasaki. This idea that Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch in the series, no, I don't think anything. I don't think there's any other way for the Dodgers to win to get a long one out of Yamamoto. And there's a pretty good chance of that, by the way. He hasn't just been good in the postseason. You go back to his last 10 starts, and that goes back to September. He's 5-1, 76 strikeouts in 68 innings. 136 opponent's batting average. The punch-outs are odd to guess on with him because in that last start, he didn't have a huge punch-out total, but he commanded all 6 pitches in his repertoire. It's highly, highly unusual, even for a premier starter, to have command over that many pitches. To have an arsenal that big is not ordinary. to be able to throw each of them at will for a strike is superhuman, and that's how good he was. So, look, he can't be any better than he was in his last start. He could be just as good, but if you're a Blue Jays backer, you're going to bank on regression here. I mean, his last two have been superhuman. Can he keep this thing up? Like, even aces hit the wall at some point. Remember Corey Kluber in 2016, how good he was for the Indians? And then against the Cubs near the end of the World Series, he was gassed. I'm not saying that's the case with Yamamoto because he hasn't amassed as many innings as Kluber did that year. But you're banking on him being a superhuman, a superhero again tonight if you're back at the Dodgers.
The love affair with Trinan's got to stop. I'll say that. But the other thing is Roberts is shaking up the lineup again. They haven't been able to hit, and it goes back since the Red Series ended. I can't believe how many struggles. Mookie Betts, 3 for 23 slump. Muncy's hitting $115 last 7. What would you do with the lineup if you're Roberts?
I probably would have dropped Mookie down a little lower, to be honest. But he's Mookie Betts. He's a guy that's capable of turning around in one swing, and there's also a little bit of ego there that you have to worry about. Not that they're worried about it in an elimination scenario. You know, Teoscar hasn't. He's hit some homers, but he hasn't had. Every one of his at bats have not been good. When he swings and misses, it's not a pretty thing to behold. Edman is hitting $100 something. Really, the only guys that have hit in this World Series for the Dodgers have been Freddie. Kike hit the homer, accounting for the only run. Shohei's been okay, with the exception of the night that he pitched and hit when he was out of gas. We really thought that somebody was going to struggle after the 18-inning Monday game, right? Game 3 was taxing. We all thought, we meaning the industry, that it was dead for Toronto, right? You lose that game in such heartbreaking fashion. Your offense goes dark for 10 straight innings and extra innings. That's supposed to signal the end for you. It was the Dodgers that had a hard time coming back from that. And I don't know what's going on with Mookie, but this is as low as he's hit in the Dodger order in 5 years.
Oh.
It's really... It's mind-numbing to figure out how he is in between on every pitch. You can see it in his face. In his press game, his comments afterwards are not awe-inspiring either. It's really kind of weird.
He's plus 180 to not have a hit tonight, Matt. Plus 180.
Wow, to not have a hit. That is, and we're talking about a future Hall of Famer here. That's wild.
He's one of the best players of this generation, probably. So all let's talk about Yamamoto, right? Should we be focusing a little bit more on Kevin Gausman?
Yes. Look, his splitter has been so good this postseason. He's given up 2 hits on his split this postseason. He's got a 52% whiff on that pitch this postseason. You know it's coming, but the matchup for the Dodgers isn't good. During the World Series, and it's not just the split that Gausman throws, they're 1 for 22 against splitters in the World Series. The only hit they've had against a split was Freddie Freeman had a double against Gausman in Game 2. That's it. So, in the absence of completely changing your personnel, this is the same group of hitters that can't hit the split. Maybe Gausman, I don't even know what Gausman's strikeout total is, but I'd look at that a little more closely than I would the other way. Here's another thing with the Blue Jays lineup. Even though Snell got to his strikeout number in Game 5, barely, and it took that last hitter for him to get to 7. They're a lineup that really changes their approach in 2 strike counts, with the exception of Addison Barger, who swings out of his rear end on every pitch. God bless the guy, because every once in a while he connects and he's fun. You'll watch them change their approach. Vlad is the perfect example. He's a power hitter that turns into more of a contact-oriented guy in 2 strike counts. That's why their strikeout totals are low. That's why their contact rate is high. And that's why it's tough to back opponent strikeout numbers against Toronto.
So Gausman, best number I can find, it's 5.5 at some books, plus 132 to the over, 4.5 at other books, juice like minus 150. And then Yamamoto, you can get plus money on over 6.5 if you shop around hard enough.
Boy, 4.5 on Gausman is that's a very friendly number for me.
Okay.
I'd even consider the 5.5 at plus money.
So you mentioned Springer here. What do you expect out of him tonight?
I don't know how he's going to run. The fact that they can DH him is a big bonus for them. He's got that postseason thing, man. He's like Kike Hernandez. So if healthy, you got to have him in there. I love the fact that he's able to play. Nathan Lucas batting second is a little bit more comfortable. And with Bichette in there, even though he's at about 75% and isn't running great, it's going to be a real challenge for Yamamoto tonight. This is a lineup with so much more momentum than when he faced him in the first start that he made in this World Series. And hostile territory, Blue Jays can smell it. They smell the finish line here. I hope the Dodgers can figure out a way to pull it out. I want a game tomorrow night.
You're right. So let's go through that because we won't be able to talk to you, obviously, but I want Game 7 in the worst way. How would you handle Ohtani? And how would you use him? Do you put him in the outfield? Do you use him as an opener? What would you do if you're Roberts with Glasnow, Ohtani if it goes 7?
Yeah, I don't know that they're not considering starting Ohtani. Let's think about it this way. Like, I know that his workload was really high in the day after the extra innings game, and that he's used to extended rest. He has been ever since he got here. Who do you want in Game 7 with your life on the line? Do you want Glasnow, or do you want Shohei Ohtani at 75%? I don't think there's a world where they're eliminating Ohtani starting the game. I know that, this is all secret stuff that they're all kicking around in the Dodgers front office, but I don't think they've eliminated that choice. That's my sense. I'd rather have Ohtani starting the game.
I was going to say, I'll answer. Yeah, it's got to be Ohtani 75%, right? That's the easy answer here.
Yeah,
I would think.
I would agree. Leaves them. They're not set up as well as the Blue Jays are on the occasion of the short start, because the Blue Jays have these two dudes. Chris Bassett has turned into a dude in the World Series. How valuable has he been? He's your insurance policy. Bieber's going to be available tomorrow. I mean, they have all kinds of options. The Dodgers don't have good options if this goes to a Game 7. Yet that's what they need to have happen. They've got to have Yamamoto post, and then you worry about tomorrow.
Yeah. You came on last week and said, hey, take a flyer on Yasavage around 100-1 for MVP. And boy, was he lights out the other night. Is there an angle here? If the Dodgers win this game tonight and we have a tight game tomorrow, it's all hands on deck. This kid has to come in. I don't know. I'll throw it out there. He goes 2-3 scoreless innings. Blue Jays win the game. Can he somehow pull this off?
Here's the only path for that. Vlad has been so unbelievable. If he homers tonight, by the way, he's just the 5th player in the wild card era to homer in 3 straight World Series games. What he's doing is unbelievable. He is the chalk for World Series MVP right now. And if the Blue Jays win, the pathway for Yasavage is Vlad goes hitless the next 2 nights. Yasavage comes out of the bullpen tomorrow, and he will be available for that game. And he pulls a Madison Bumgarner and goes through some rip of strikeouts, like when he punched out 5 in a row in his start at Dodger Stadium. He is live, and I think the number was plus 10,000 guys to win World Series MVP for him. That for that to be live right now, it's not a dead number. Like, there is a way that if Vlad completely goes dark, Yasavage pitches tomorrow, that could hit. Now, again, that's a real stretch because Vlad is an overwhelming favorite to win World Series MVP. He's been that good, but there's still a weird path for Yasavage.
All right, quickly here. If I gave you a couple $100, said, Matt, you got to bet one thing tonight, what would it be?
Oh, I'd find that Gausman 4.5.
You would? Okay.
And go over that number. Yeah, I like that.
All right,
yeah, that's going to be a hard number to find, though. Yeah.
Can't thank you
Are
enough.
you giving me a couple hundred? You giving me a couple $100?
I'll Venmo you, sure, if you want to put it on something here, and we can talk about it later on.
Free play.
You're the best, man. Can't thank you enough. Thank you as always.
Great talking to you guys. See ya.
Thank you, buddy.
There you go. Enjoy the game tonight. Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network.
First Bet, official racing partner of VEASAN, thrilled to bring an exclusive offer to bet the Breeders' Cup World Championships. Promo code VEASANBC. You'll be entered to win a VIP Vegas experience when you deposit and bet $200. And when you do deposit and bet just $100, you get a 1-year VEASAN Pro subscription, content, picks, and more. Bet with the Breeders' Cup. VEASANBC at first.com/VEASAN. First.com/VEASAN.
Great tidbits. Chiefs, Bills. Next.
Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now, imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.